Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters.
Welcome to Healed Forever podcast. I'm your host Kenny Edelman. Along with me is my co-host Brody James. Brody, how you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's glad to finally see a dream become a reality here. We've been talking about doing a podcast for a long time. I'm pretty excited. Hope this
Very
one
excited as well.
fantastic. I got some good ideas for this one.
Nice, brother. Nice.
So wanted to kind of just jump right into it here. Obviously with the season premiere of Raw kicking off on Monday. We had Sami Zayn open up the show, basically talking about Kevin Owens going to SmackDown, interrupted by the Judgment Day, obviously, telling him that, they're looking to eliminate him. Then what do you know? Jey Uso comes to save the day, right? Running down with the chairs, uh, fending them off. What do you see coming out of this Judgment Day, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso feud?
A great Survivor Series match in about 4 weeks, or
So you,
maybe five.
you think they're going to hold out for Survivor Series on that one?
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be a classic Survivor Series match, too. We kind of haven't had one in a long time.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, especially with, coming to oh, fuck.
Which one? SmackDown or Raw?
I'm trying to think of fucking Dom Mysterio. My bad. Brain fog.
Gotcha. All good. We can curse on the podcast, bro. It's all podcast. We can do whatever we want.
But you got Dom Mysterio, North American champion, Baylor and Priest, now tag team champions. Do you see it being anything to do with Cody Rhodes at this point, or do you think the focus is going to be on the Jey Uso, Sami Zayn kind of centerfold storyline that we have going here?
Main event Jey Uso and Sami Zayn.
That's what I kinda think too, and remind me at the end of this, I have a semi-hot take for this one, and we can kinda
Minty.
cover that as we
Okay.
go. Now, after that, you had the Shinsuke Nakamura Ricochet Falls Count Anywhere match.
I
Um,
kind of like this feud.
I do too, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really expecting it because with Ricochet, he's always kind of been that jobber, right? And
Absolutely.
the match
High
with
spot artist.
Exactly, but the match with Shinsuke, I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was. Like, a lot of times I kinda tune these matches out just because, Ricochet is gonna get folded over one way or another. But with the shooting star press spot that he did in the crowd, it was amazing. Like, it had me
Absolutely.
fucking locked in, and then, sending him through the table was even better. Do you think this one is gonna go any further? Do you think they're gonna keep building up on this storyline, or do you kinda think this was a one-off?
I think that if they were wise, they would have one of them take out Gunther for that IC
See, I like that
and let
too.
this be about that.
I like that too. I'm honestly kinda gonna skip over something straight to that now because you said something about it. I am so fucking sick of seeing Gunther with the title. And every week I'm like, "Oh, you know what? This finally might be it." And I don't see anyone in the near future to kind of knock him off that pedestal other than, potentially Nakamura, as you kinda stated previously. Um,
They need to
now,
redo that belt, bro. When
bro,
somebody does beat him, like, they need to redo that belt because it's the worst in the Continental Championship I've seen in the history of the company. The worst, bro. I mean, we
to
had
be
some funny
honest,
shit too.
other than the United States title and the new one that they just debuted on Raw for Seth Rollins, I I think they need a complete overhaul on all of them. Why are we still
Correct.
walking around with 2 tag titles when they're on both shows? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me anymore. Like, yeah, it's cool for a couple weeks, but this has been going on for, what, a year now? Like, it's
Yeah,
time to
a little
go.
bit longer, bro. I feel like it's been the same teams holding them too. Like you've held up that division like when there's plenty of talent underneath them. And I feel like for a year it's been the same people holding the belts and switching back and forth and all that. Like, I don't know. Tag division should be heat in the company, and I feel like it gets shit on a little bit. And it's the people that are holding the tag team titles are positioning themselves for singles runs.
Well, and I mean, the same can be said with I think WWE kind of is getting to that point where they're realizing that because if you're noticing, they're splitting up the Usos, they're kind of
Yes, yes,
making these teams out of nothing that like who would have ever expected Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso to be tag champions? Like that's something
absolutely
I
not.
would have never fucking thought of. But, it worked out. The back and forth is kind of entertaining, I guess, to kinda see where it goes with Judgment Day, but I still think the belts need an overhaul altogether.
I agree. I do. I agree. Like you said, I like the one for Seth. I think that's always going to represent like the heavyweight championship. I don't think you create another belt that looks different than that for that belt, but I don't know. I think Seth's time with the belt is coming down to a wind down too. Rightfully so too, because there's a lot of good people that could be holding that championship to bring it good prestige too, and he could be
Correct.
chasing the other one.
And honestly, bro, like, I was sitting here thinking about it today, and I'm like, this is the first time in a long time of watching wrestling that they have a number of top guys. Like, usually,
Yep,
you have, like, the 2 or 3 guys that kinda go back and forth, but just on the Raw roster alone, it is stacked as far as, you have Drew McIntyre, you have Cody Rhodes, even main event Jay fucking Uso.
I know. I like it though. I
It's
like it.
I love it. I love it. I love that they're kind of giving Jey Uso, Sami Zayn the spots, and they're definitely overproducing when it comes to it, so it's actually, like, a fantastic fucking time to be a wrestling fan right now.
It is too, and the factions. I know people are shitting on the factions on Twitter. Oh, they're running into the ground, but for a long time we didn't have a lot of factions. I remember when they were trying to do like the League of Nations a few years back, and I'm like, oh, bro, like,
Well, and that's kind of always been WWE's problem too. It's like you either get not enough or you get too much. They never really find that middle ground when it comes to the factions and things like that. But um, kind of want to transition into this next one, and I know this is
okay,
something we haven't heard about in a long time, but the women's tag team champions, right? You have Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So Piper Niven had a one-off match with Natalia. Um, I don't know what it is about these women's titles. They can't seem to find relevant teams. And even when they bring them up from NXT, they never seem to build up enough momentum with the storylines. And these tag titles are just kind of rotting and not getting that time. What
because
could
there's
you
no investment into the characters. That's why.
so if you had to pick 2 people from that women's division to take those championships and actually have a successful run with it, who would it be? Because if you're looking at it, Chelsea Green has been a tag champion for, I think, like, 6 months, and I think she's defended
Yes,
the titles 1 time.
that's crazy. Well, I think you have to start creating women's tag teams that are actually tag teams. They kind of just like mix and matching a lot of broads together and expecting them to like create chemistry. How about building tag teams that are real tag teams in NXT and then bringing them up to win
Well,
the belts?
and that's what it kind of looked like they were doing when they brought up the tag teams from NXT in this last draft, but there's been nothing. I haven't seen them on TV. Like, they haven't really kind of launched off that pad, so to speak, and it's not like there's nothing there. I mean, we're getting Johnny Gargano and Ludwig Kaiser having matches. Why can't you find some tag team women's division matches that you could throw in there? It just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. I like that.
And then one of the better spots of Monday night, we have Seth Rollins, came out, did his thing, crowd loves him as usual. Kind of goes into the whole Drew McIntyre potential Judgment Day alliance going on. Drew kind of alludes to having lightning in a bottle when he won at WrestleMania, no fans in the arena to experience it. He was the company's guy when COVID happened. He rose to the occasion, which he did. Not going to say anything bad about it. The big thing I take away from that is I'm actually upset that Drew never got to have that run with fans. Um, Kind of goes into the whole pay-per-view in the UK. It was him, Roman. He got screwed over by the bloodline. He's still not had
Clash of the Castle,
that. Yeah,
yes.
Clash of the Castle. Got screwed over by the bloodline, ended up losing the championship opportunity there. But now he says he's got lightning in a bottle a third time, and he's coming for Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. Um, what do you make of this situation? Do you see Drew McIntyre potentially dethroning Seth Rollins as the champion, or do you see Seth Rollins retaining and moving on?
I think if anyone's gonna dethrone him, it should be Drew McIntyre. I think that if there's anyone in the company right now other than like Strowman, is he even employed there anymore, Strowman?
I don't believe so. I think he
Because
was
that's who should really have this belt. But in the essence of that, I think Drew McIntyre is made for this belt, and I think that he can have a great run with it because it's you never look at him and say he's an easy beat. Like you can have him against anyone for that belt. I mean, Finn can go for that belt. A few other people can go for that belt that don't necessarily that they're not going to see the undisputed for like 2 years between Roman and Cody and LA Knight, and then Jey Uso will probably get a run here and there with the belt.
right.
These guys aren't going to see that. Guys like Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. He even shit on Sami Zayn 2 weeks ago. He told him, "So you don't even know, bro. You've never even won a world championship." I mean, that's heady.
How great would it be to have a Drew
Correct.
McIntyre Sami Zayn feud for the title?
Yes. Yes.
Like it would be
It's
perfect.
something I would do if I was in the video game creating and like booking in the video game. It would be a matchup I would do.
And that's the thing too, when Sammy was at the height of all the hype that he was getting, and he put on a hell of a match with Roman, but at the end of the day, the storyline of where they're going obviously was not going to end with Sami Zayn.
No, it
Uh,
wasn't his time.
no, and so at the same time, I feel like you could easily build him back up to that same spot now that KO's on SmackDown, and you could have a very good feud with Drew, and I could even see Sami Zayn taking the title from Drew and having his own little run.
Absolutely, that would be the plan. If it was, I mean, they'd have to start planting it now. I mean, him. Well, a few of them doing like a traditional Survivor Series match would be dope for sure. It would be a good way. If Drew was going to turn heel and do anything, it should be at Survivor Series. Like he should turn his back on the team that he's going for, and then join Judgment Day if that's what they're teasing.
Now let me ask you this burning question: if Drew McIntyre wins, do you see him headlining WrestleMania?
Over what do you mean? What do you mean? Head like night one?
Either night 1 or night 2, either way, do you have him making it to WrestleMania as the champion should he win?
Yes, yes.
I think so
But
too.
I
I
think
think
I think he's got to win it right now, though. I think like it can't be like, bro, he wins it at Rumble and then 2 months later he drops it. I mean, that's dog shit. If you're gonna
well,
have him win it, like have him win it at Survivor Series and then have good feuds until Rumble, until somebody takes it off him.
see, I can agree with that, but I also think if he makes it to Mania with the championship, I don't think they would have him drop it because his
So then he should win it. Then he
yeah,
should win it at Mania. He should beat Seth at Mania.
because my thing is, you had him win the title without the fans, and then the first WrestleMania back with fans that I went to see Drew McIntyre win live, you had him drop the fucking belt to Bobby Lashley. Like, what?
I remember that.
And
That was
I'm still
miserable.
mind blown over that. Like, bro, give the
Miserable.
guy his credit. He's fucking working his ass off for this, and he's finally got the opportunity to win at WrestleMania in front of, granted, 25,000 fans at that time, but let him have it. Give the
I
guy his
agree.
due.
I agree. I
Oh,
think the
and
guy
then
is traditional WWE talent, and he's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. We don't really have too many big men in the sport right now that are on top that are like doing anything. That's why I mentioned Strowman earlier. It's something that's missing. I know people shit on it for a very long time because that's all there was, but when there's none of it, it's I don't like it. You
yeah,
need some big motherfuckers in there. You need some big men around to create the mountain and the challenge and all that kind of shit.
and I can agree with that too, but then I feel like, as I said before, too much or too little, and then you end up with fucking Rey Mysterio, Big Show all over again, where they're gonna have it'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
fucking Dragon Lee against Braun Strowman. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck are
correct,
we
correct.
doing?
I got you. I
But
mean, but
then
even so, like another good one would be like I think if they bring that guy up from NXT that couldn't handle his water with Cena.
Strowman
Um,
or I
no,
mean, Breakker? Braun Breaker?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Rick Steiner's kid. If
Mhm.
they bring him up, I think him and McIntyre would be a mint feud for that belt.
Oh, don't get me wrong, bro, if it like, as you told me previously with, Braun Breaker on NXT with John Cena, he was kind of too small for the moment, but I feel like you give him time to
Of
kind of
course.
catch that fire. I think he's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
great on the main card.
I think so too. You could just tell he was a rookie. And when I was saying it to my wife, she was like, "Babe, it's NXT." I'm like, "Yeah, you right. You fucking right,
Yeah.
bro. We ain't watching Raw.
But he's been doing it for a while, though. I think he's coming up on, like, 2.5 years of being in NXT. It's like at some point, bro, it either
It's
clicks or
almost
it
time for
doesn't,
this guy."
you know?
Got you.
And speaking of rookies and little action time, we have, Ludwig Kaiser went one-on-one with Johnny Gargano, my boy
Gargano,
Johnny.
yeah.
Um,
Johnny Wrestling.
what do you think the plan is for Kaiser? Because they've been doing a lot of, the solo vignettes and things like that. Do you think that they're gonna position him for a solo run, or do you think they're still just kind of trying to build up that Gunther posse, making them look stronger than what they really are kind of a thing?
You know what's funny is that before you just said that like he was in Gunther's posse, I was gonna be like, bro, like when I was like peeping it, like this guy looks like he's about 6 months off from being a manager for somebody. So I that was funny when you said that. I was like, oh, it makes sense. He's in a stable because I don't know. I don't see anything with him. I don't know.
I mean, the one thing I will give him credit for is he is very good on the mic. Um, I
Okay,
I haven't really
mouthpiece.
paid enough attention to his wrestling because I'm not really a fan of him and, I think the other guy's name is Giovanni Vinci. Um, Tag
Okay,
team matches, I just don't see it with them, but the main reason is I really just hate Gunther, so I kind of just avoid everything that has to do with him at all. Um,
correct.
but I could definitely see them kind of giving him a solo run. I don't think it'll ever come to him winning a championship by any means, but I could definitely see him having his own run, and they're kind of making it seem like they're pointing in that direction.
I agree. I agree.
Next
What
up,
do we got here?
we got Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler. Ended up in a no contest. What do you think as far as Rhea Ripley's title reign goes? She's obviously been the leader of the Judgment Day. She's having major success with that. Do you see her dropping the title soon, or do you think this is going to be one of those longer term women's
Longer
champions?
term, longer term, no doubt.
I think
And they're
so.
gonna stall it until like Rumble. It'll be like a decent feud at Rumble. Maybe something that sets up Mania, but I think she'll roll to like SummerSlam until
See, here's my
until they're ready to give like Jade Cargill the belt. Then I could see that too.
s- and this is my only hesitation on it because I know later on we're going to have a segment where we're giving our hot takes, but I'm actually going to throw out a hot take right now. We have Rhea Ripley and Crown Jewel has now been made into a fatal five-way match. You have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez, and Rhea Ripley for the title.
I
I could
seen that.
I could easily see someone else taking the fall as far as honestly, just kind of looking at it here, I would assume that if anybody was going to win this that's not named Rhea Ripley, it would be Raquel Rodriguez because they already kind of have a little bit of a feud going. She could easily score a pinfall from Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, whatever it may be, but that'll also kind of build up that storyline of, you didn't beat the real champion. Let's run it back at
Correct. I agree. I agree.
a Rumble, and I think that could easily be, a sort of more towards the end of the night match as far as a build up because they already have that kind of thing going on.
Fair play. Okay. I mean, I knew once they brought Nia Jax back that they were gonna.
I wish they never
Yeah, I
would. I wish
know.
they never, bro. Like it's It's not even that I don't like her. It's just simply the fact of how many people do you have to injure because you can't do your job correctly before they're finally like enough's enough.
Correct.
Like
I agree.
it's Seth Rollins all over again, but that's a
Ah,
story for another time. Uh,
yes. Yeah. What do we
so
got?
then following up with that, we had Gunther and Bronson Reed Intercontinental
Yeah,
title.
next topic, bro. I don't even want to go through this guy, bro. This
Yeah,
guy's
but
a waste of time.
here's my thing. I for sure thought Bronson Reed was gonna be the one to finish it. I'm like, this is kind of what makes sense. That way, we're kind of leading up to the Royal Rumble. You know, I could see them having plans for Gunther potentially winning the Royal Rumble, but I don't see that happening if he's the Intercontinental Champion. It just doesn't make sense. There's too much going on with the top titles right now that kind of leads me away from that in a slight. But at the same time, how much longer are we going to do this, Triple H? Paul, get your shit together. Give me a new champion. I'm so sick and tired of seeing this man on my TV.
Oh,
Paul,
I
I
agree.
agree.
I'm solely with you, and I think we should move on because I don't even want to talk about this guy.
Yeah,
I can't
that's fine.
stand this guy, bro.
That's absolutely fine. We can move on to the main event of Monday Night Raw. We had Finn Balor and Damian Priest, two parts of the Judgment Day, versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship belts. I'm gonna be honest with you. I 100% thought that Jay and Cody Rhodes were gonna retain. This kind of brings me back to a conversation we had about NXT when we had Dom losing the North American Championship only to win it back
Correct.
the following week. We're having this flip-flop of titles right now, and a part of me is unsure if this is part of a bigger story coming up or if these writers are just kind of running out of ideas. Because it can go either way when it comes to WWE 90% of the time. Um, so obviously we had Finn Balor and Damian Priest picking up the win, getting the titles after Jimmy Uso emerged from Raw to attack his brother Jay. As we
That's
said
the match at
before,
Mania right there, bro. That's what they should be building towards.
honestly, I think so too, and I think, you're gonna bring it's got a spot for Solo Sikoa as well because at some point he's gonna have to choose sides.
Triple
Uh,
threat? Oh, fuck out of here. That'd be mint.
honestly, I want The Rock to come back and just end this bloodline thing, to be honest. I like them as a stable. I like the storylines that have been going on, but
But it's
at
time for something else.
exactly. You don't wanna overdo it to the point where it gets too stale before the payoff, and I think if it
It's
goes
getting
any
close.
further than WrestleMania, it's gonna be too far gone.
Correct. Getting close. You're right about that. That's a fair
So,
play.
hopping over to Friday Night Smackdown, and this is
Okay.
the point that I've been most excited about this entire time to talk about. My boy, LA Knight, I can't wait to have you on the show, my brother. Comes out
Right.
talking to Paul Heyman, running his mouth that he's gonna take that title from Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Everything that comes out of this man's mouth is gold. The crowd is backing him 1,000% in every city. Do you think LA Knight has a chance to beat Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, or do you think this is gonna be a one-off build back up kind of a situation?
This should have never been in the first place. When I seen this, I was like, "Oh no, bro!" In Saudi Arabia, all this time, like they had such a chance to build a feud that could have been so big before they ever got in the ring together, or they ever even did a promo together in the ring, and they fucking blew it. Like
I
Roman should have been like there should have been someone else doing this at Crown Jewel. Like they should the first time they should have been in the ring together should have been like February, bro. Like the night after the Royal Rumble should be the first time they were in the ring together, looking at each other, talking, getting it fucking hype for Mania. Why we're doing this 6 months in advance, I have no fucking idea, but it's got me hot.
listen,
Very
let me
hot
tell
about it.
you,
I didn't
you
like
know
seeing it.
you know better than anyone that I am the biggest fucking LA Knight mark right now. Uh,
Correct.
I love everything about this dude. I think he's on a one-way path to the fucking stars. I I also agree with you, as much as I love that he's getting a title opportunity now, the payoff could be so much better if they would have just, had him win the Royal Rumble, and that may still very well be the case, but I just think there hasn't been enough buildup. Like, Roman Reigns hasn't really been on TV for the past, what, 2 to 3 months, and now he's been back technically to 1 SmackDown. I don't think he was there yesterday. I'm not seeing
Correct.
why they're rushing it. I feel like they almost should have went Cena, Roman Reigns, and then kind of have LA Knight save the day, so to speak, to build up even further. But I don't understand what the rush is here because
Cena and Roman would have been just fine, bro.
yeah,
Cena
and
and Roman would have been just fine. That would have been suffice for Crown Jewel.
I can definitely see, having LA Knight just get obliterated at Crown Jewel and then, working his way back to the Royal Rumble, and that'll be fantastic. But I also think you're kind of killing his character a little bit by having him lose to Roman Reigns this early, especially because he's on that hot streak that he's been on.
Bro, back in the day, they used to build these feuds. Like, there would be great moments in time, like, about these feuds. There is none of that anymore. Not even just in this product, in a lot of the products. There's no investment into the feud. Like, you don't, like, they're so worried about, like, outsmarting the fan that they don't understand that, like, they had it right the first time. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
It's like the
this guy should have
only
been beating big motherfuckers on the way to Roman Reigns. Like, he should have been having great feuds over the next few months with guys like Drew, with guys like Sami Zayn. Small feuds, build the character, get people invested more into the character. Like I said, bro, he should have sniffed around Roman until 5 months from now.
yeah, and it's like the only, storylines that they're focusing on and following are the stables. Those are the only ones that are kind of staying true to that theory. But the problem is you can't have the stable and their opponents as a revolving factor. It kind of
Correct.
takes everything out of it. So, you get overwhelmed and you get tired of seeing the Judgment Day every Monday doing the same shit. And the same goes for the bloodline. It's been literally it feels like it's lasted my entire life, if I'm gonna be brutally
I
honest.
agree.
It's
I agree.
been
And they're not as funny as Austin and The Rock, where like you could put it on every Monday and there was something different. They were
right,
doing
or
something different. They were funny in
even
different ways.
DX blowing up buses and shit, like,
Correct.
r
Correct. There is none of that. Like there is no
right.
backstage work anymore. There is no off-site work anymore. Everything is just like gorilla position and fucking in the ring. Which all right, bro. Like I get it. But like that's Bush League. Like that's AEW shit. Let them do Bush League shit.
Yeah, so Paul, if you are listening to this, give us some more backstage shit. That's what we want.
Correct. Like more interaction, more investment in the characters and the storyline. There's like not too much of it. And when they do, it's like so fucking scripted. And listen, like I'm not even trying to shit on the company. I love the company, you know that. But like they have a good chance right now with all this talent to really bring it to where it was as far as its height, and they're just not doing it. Giving us LA Knight and Roman Reigns 6 months before they should even be fucking sniffing around each other. That's crazy. But all right, let's move on.
Alright, moving on, we have, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. It was actually Montez Ford against Santos Escobar one-on-one. Um, I I don't really know what to make of this. I've actually been a big fan of Santos Escobar. He's definitely growing on me. LWO is definitely there as far as one of the factions being established. I
Correct.
I don't like that they took the title away from him. Well, not the title away from him, but they kind of went with Mysterio instead. I think Santos has the ability to be a star, but then, you have Montez Ford who is has the ability to blow up at any moment. He ends up picking up the win over Santos. Now, obviously, Street Profits are, with Bobby Lashley now. Do you like them as heels? Is it working for you, or do you like the Street Profits more of past experiences where they're, more of the babyface kind of situation?
I like them as heels.
I do too. I love it, actually.
Correct. I'm
They
cool with it.
The bad part is this is what the Hurt Business should have been when it started. I don't know why they
Absolutely.
threw a bunch of random guys together when they had the Street Profits. I think it fits perfectly. I think it's gonna end up being a great Survivor Series match with Bobby Lashley, Street Profits. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the LWO is gonna be involved in that somehow, some way. I think it's gonna have a great payoff. But like I said, I still
This whole Survivor Series should be a great payoff, bro. They have a chance with all these factions to really bring the match back itself and
100.
create storylines within these matches to let someone from each stable shine at the end of these matches. And if they don't, it's criminal.
I agree. Give me 1 second. This message is brought to you by Leo's Pride Whiskey. Pouring that
Yes.
baby right now. So yeah, I mean, I think the Survivor Series definitely has the ability to be one of the best Survivor Series cards as a whole that we've had in a long time,
Correct.
especially with all the factions, as you said, and then also with the champions that we have, if they kind of keep that same
Yeah,
notion of what we've
bro.
seen in the past, I think obviously Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins one more time is gonna be a barn burner, unless you have
Correct.
McIntyre win,
Correct.
which kind of leads me to think that they may give him the chance because, he keeps bringing up the bloodline, and now you have that ability to put him and Roman at Survivor Series one-on-one, no gold involved, but at least it's a retribution match for him. What do you think about that?
I agree. I agree. I like Seth and Roman going at it again. I never mind that. I want to see it at Mania, bro. It
No, no, no,
deserves a
I'm
Mania
not
show.
talking about Seth and Roman one-on-one. I'm talking about if you have McIntyre win the title at Crown Jewel, and then he gets his one-on-one with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series.
Oh. Yeah, don't
That
mind
way
that either.
nobody's dropping a title, but then, you can have him pick up the W as kind of a redemption of everything that did happen, and then he's got that over Roman Reigns without having Roman drop a belt.
Bro, this guy's not getting pinned until LA Knight pins him at Mania.
If LA Knight pins him at Mania, I might have a heart attack because
I'm just saying, like that's what I'm saying. Like that's how it should be.
and Brody, I've been ever since they brought this dude up, I've been telling you for months and months, they're sitting on a pile of fucking gold. What are we doing? Why is this dude not main eventing every pay-per-view? And then you gave us the tease at Money in the Bank only to have Damian Priest win it, which I
I was
feel
so
like that's
fucking
gonna
hot,
be
bro.
I still feel like it's gonna be a failed cash in. Like, the dude's not good on the mic. He's not
And
even
when is
that
and when
well.
is he gonna cash in? And who's he gonna cash in? I mean, not for
And
nothing,
that's the thing too,
he
because
would be good for that Seth belt too.
I
That's
think
a fact.
so here's my thing, I think he's too stiff in the ring, and I think a part of
Okay,
that is because he's, built, like, longer legs and he's kind of got, like, that Undertaker build
I
to
agree.
him, but at
Yes,
the same time, I still don't understand what's going on with him in the Judgment Day because, they're kind of building this animosity with Balor and Dom and Priest, especially when it comes to that Money in the Bank championship. There's always kinda seems like one of those guys interrupts right before the cash in happens. So I definitely don't see I feel like after Survivor Series, you're gonna have one less staple. I feel like they're gonna go towards something's gonna happen, or even if it's still Judgment Day, I feel like Priest is not gonna be involved moving forward, which if they end
that's
up
cool.
giving him a title run, maybe that's for the best. But I also think having all the gold in Judgment Day is not a bad idea, especially with as much time that they're getting on TV as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for it.
I would not
I
be
don't
mad.
mind. I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind that. Yeah, they
yeah, they
need
need
bigger
bigger gold.
gold. Like if like what you're saying, like if they're gonna have all the gold, like at least have like the real title, bro.
Yeah, like, and somebody at this point, bro, I wouldn't even be mad if Dom beat Gunther. Like, just give
That's what they should be setting up for, bro. That should be the fucking Mania match right there. The guy who hasn't lost the fucking belt and the guy who's the hottest heel in your fucking company right now, bro.
oh my god,
And it
so
should be
much.
that 100%.
To be honest, like, once they split Dom from Ray. I didn't really care for Dom as much because he was still very green when it came to
I
in the ring.
I could
He's not
agree.
he's still not that great on the mic, but I feel like the crowd booing kinda drowns that out and draws it away, so he does have that going for him for sure. Um, I think he could probably be one of the best heels that the WWE has ever seen.
I
Not
think so
yet,
too.
but I think he's very well on his way to it if they do it right.
I agree. I like it.
All right, next we had John Cena, Solo Sikoa, ended up, you know, Jey Uso showing up on SmackDown to attack Jimmy Uso, kind of building that storyline up even further. What I'm not quite sure what their plans are for John Cena. Do you see anything as far as this going further, having more usage of him after Survivor Series, or do you think this is all just kind of to set up Survivor Series and then John slowly disappearing again to go back to Hollywood?
I think Hollywood's fucked. I think we'll have him till Mania.
Okay, let me ask you this: if we do have him until Mania, and you had to plan the perfect match for him, who would you put him with?
I'd put him with. I mean, fuck. I'd put him with Drew.
Really?
Yeah, I'd put him with Drew
All right, let
and
me ask.
let him get that key victory that he needs as the world heavyweight champion. And the whole time we'll be thinking he's about to be the 16th time and the 17th time and all that, and it ain't gonna happen. He gonna get fucking Claymore, and then that's it. Boom.
See, I would love to see him in another championship match at Mania, but in my head, I would
Or
be
he could win it and
well,
then go drop it to Drew.
I don't think that the championship is gonna be in the plans just because when you think about the other storylines that are going on just other than the bloodline, you also have a man by the name of Grayson Waller, and
I
I
keep hearing about this guy. Did you see the tweet of him shitting on
bro,
Travis
he's a
Kelsey?
fucking savage.
I know,
Every
Daruki sent it
That
to me.
Hitting Off 2 is gold. He's on the same path that LA Knight is. He's got the talk show, it's going great, Grayson Waller effect. I could easily see John Cena putting him over at Mania
I
because
like that too, almost
he's
Theory style.
yeah, exactly, and I feel like, when you had John Cena in
I
theory,
could do
they
that.
tried it. It didn't pan out the way they wanted to, but Grayson Waller is the absolute opposite of Austin Theory. He's great on the mic, he's great in the ring, there's no issues, no ands, ifs, ors, buts
Got you.
about it. I could easily see
Bro, the
him.
guy called Taylor Swift a 6. Called her a 6.
Bro, I'm
I mean,
telling
me
you.
and Daruki were talking about this. I was like, "Ah, bro, like, she's cool, but, like, that's not my first, like if you're famous like Travis Kelce, like, to me, like, that's not my first, like, oh, yeah, that's where I'm going."
Well, I'm a Swiftie, so I'm not gonna say anything to, put my
Fair
girl,
play.
but he's got everything going. He's got plenty of momentum right now, and, like I said, being great on the mic is a huge benefit, especially in this day and age of wrestling where most are not so good on the mic. Looking at you, Bobby Lashley. Um, so I think he could very easily put him over and kind of, put him on a path of maybe a United States title run, an intercontinental title run. I don't think he's quite ready for a championship run, but I could definitely see it post Mania is where he'll kind of, take that final leap and finally become.
Him in Theory at Mania would be heat.
Well, so we're gonna get to that in a short minute, but before we do, I want to go over Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul. Obviously, you
Oh,
had Logan
bro.
Paul and Dylan Dennis, the atrocity. I don't even know if you can call it a boxing match. But afterwards, Logan Paul wins. He calls out Rey Mysterio. um, they have a few words. He actually shit on LA Knight and John Cena as well. I don't have the audio offhand, so I can't tell you exactly what he said. But Rey Mysterio did accept his challenge for a title match at Crown Jewel. Um, what do you think about that? Do you think this is where Logan Paul kind of springboards into, a championship, or do you think this is gonna be another Rey Mysterio taking down someone much bigger than him to kind of continue this United States title run?
I think it's exactly what you just said, which just pisses me off a little bit. I don't know, like I don't this guy like in WWE, like he's good, bro. Don't get me wrong, he's all right, but he just doesn't do it for me. As a personality in general, this guy just don't do it for me.
Uh, in
He's not
in
even half as entertaining as his brother.
in certain
But
feuds, I will say that it didn't get it for me. Like, I definitely didn't like him and Seth Rollins going back and forth. Um,
absolutely not. What
now
a
don't
waste.
don't get me wrong, though. I'm not gonna take away what he did at Crown Jewel previously when he took on Roman Reigns. That was a hell of a performance that he put on. And even
Right,
at
I'll
the
give you
Royal
that
Rumble
one.
last year, him and Ricochet, their spot they had where
Yes,
they fucking
yes,
dived into
yes,
each other like cracked out superheroes. It's amazing. I feel like the dude does put fans in the stands, especially bringing a lot of people
yes,
that
he
don't
does.
normally watch wrestling. He's not bad
Yes,
on
he
the
does.
mic. I think this is gonna be a situation where he's gonna get the gold, and I think it's
Oh,
gonna be even more than that potentially because he does have the following. He's not bad in the ring. I could easily see him ending up as the world heavyweight champion.
I could see that too. I thought you meant like the big one. I'm like, ah, bro, this guy is not for the big one. No, he's not the guy.
You mean the big one, Roman?
Undisputed, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, he's not on that level yet, but I could easily see him taking out Rollins or McIntyre,
Correct, correct.
um,
Me too, me too.
Cody
Put some
Rhodes,
gold on him,
whatever it may be.
shine him up.
Right, right. Alright,
Right.
so now we can jump back into Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They took on Dragon Lee and Cameron Grimes in a tag team match. This is one of those things where I feel like they're trying to take 2 heels and just kind of glue them together and make a tag team even though they don't fucking need to be a tag team. Um, Having them in a semi-main event against Dragon Lee and Cameron Grimes, I'm not a fan of. I don't l not that I don't like Dragon Lee or Cameron Grimes, I think they're both very talented in their own aspects, but as I said before, I think Grayson Waller is a shooting star in this business. To have him and Austin Theory tag teaming together, I don't love that first off. I also don't love the fact that they're
That they're
kind of
doing it against like pikers,
yeah, exactly, fucking fake jobbers who like,
pike
let's be
jobbers.
real, like, what are we setting up here? Are they gonna make a run for the undisputed tag team titles? Do you
I
think
hope
that's
not.
the direction they're going?
I hope not.
I just
I'd like to see these two against each other at Mania for one of the belts. Maybe
well,
that'd
and
be a
that's what
nice
I was gonna say
intercontinental. That's a
too.
classic IC title match right there.
I could easily see a little fucking bait and switch here where, they're going on a tag team run, then all of a sudden they start losing a couple matches, that, tenseness starts to build up, and then you get a little Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, maybe at Survivor Series, maybe at the Royal Rumble.
I like them. I like them being a tag team until the Rumble, and then having that moment in the Rumble where one of
That's
them eliminates each other.
right, yeah, that's kind of where I think the path to that is gonna lead. Other than that, I really don't wanna spend too much time on this one because, like I said, I
Fair
think
play.
Austin Theory is kind of a waste. I had high hopes for him coming out of NXT, but he hasn't really shown me much to be impressed with. So moving on, we had, the women's champion, Io Sky, defeated Charlotte Flair. Um, she ended up using the title
Crazy.
to hit Charlotte Flair. Obviously, they're not gonna have Io one-on-one beat Charlotte Flair clean. Um,
Yeah, no, I knew the 3 count wasn't coming for that one.
yeah, 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 yeah. So
Charlotte Flair don't get pinned like that.
you have this ending, and then all of a sudden, Bianca Belair's music hits. She comes to the rescue, tries to hit Io with a KOD before she can get the move off. Bailey pulls Io off of her, and then in turn, Bailey gets hit with the KOD. Do you
Gotcha.
see Io? Do you see this run lasting for a while, or do you think this was kind
No,
of
I think she drops it at Survivor Series.
that's what I was gonna say too. It almost gives me the feeling of, well, Bianca's out. Charlotte just came back. We kind of just need someone to do it. Io has put in a lot of work. Let's just let her hold the
Correct.
title for a little while. Um, who do you think is gonna be the one to dethrone her? Do you think they're gonna give it back to Charlotte, or do you think it's gonna go back to Bianca? Or dot dot dot, do you think Jade Cargill, welcome to WWE, by the way, babe. Do you think that she is gonna end up being the one to take that title?
I think it should be Bailey at Survivor Series.
You know, you're
I
not
think it.
wrong there, especially with, Bailey kind of getting involved with the
Mhm.
KOD and everything, but
Mhm.
I feel like Bailey is not gonna be the champion until after Io is dethroned. I could easily see Bailey ending up winning it from Bianca or maybe Charlotte, but I also feel like Bailey's time is kind of passing. Um,
Correct, and I think it gives Io a high profile match at Survivor Series, a big feud against someone that she's close with right now, and it also gives them a chance to take the belt off of her, someone that's believable, someone that's strong, and then whoever takes it off Bailey will bring it to Mania for your girl.
yeah, I definitely think all roads point to Jade Cargill main eventing WrestleMania night 1 or night 2. I would honestly love excuse me, I would love to see it Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Jade Cargill in a triple threat match. I think that would be the biggest fucking match in the
For all
women's
the belts?
division for all the belts.
All the belts.
Yes, all the
All
belts.
right, I can see it.
Because and I know that they're, going back to let's have one champion for Raw, one champion for SmackDown, but they always end up going back to their roots of having a two belt champion. And what better way to welcome Jade Cargill into the business than giving her both titles?
It's a great booking. Let's see if they fucking have the balls.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. A lot of times the writers are afraid to take that leap, and us fans, we think we know best, but sometimes things lead off to bigger things, and we're just not willing to wait for it. So we'll see what happens on that.
Ah, fuck that, bro. 8 out of 10 with money. No doubt. Money booking.
All
All right,
right.
so what do we got? Crown Jewel.
Yep, let's move on to Crown Jewel. As of right now, we only have 4 matches, designated. I'm sure you maybe get 1 or 2 more in the next week or so. Still about 2 weeks out on it. So let's just start with, as we said before, the Women's World Championship match. It's a fatal 5-way. Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez. I just want to know, who are you taking to win this match?
Nia Jax.
Really?
My
Really?
man said, "Really?"
Tell me you're kidding.
Yeah, bro. I think that she's the perfect broad to chase until Mania. It gives Rhea someone to chase till Mania, and she, like I said, bro, it's like having a big man in the business. Like it's a big task to take the belt off of. So
Let me
I look at the rest of them and I'm like, ah,
I mean, what you're
boring,
saying is
boring,
not
green.
wrong, but I can also tell you if they do that, it would be the biggest fucking mistake that they could ever make,
Of
because you
course,
have Raquel Rodriguez, who is slowly climbing up, slowly gaining that momentum. The fans love her. I think, like I said before, I think you see a Raquel Rodriguez pinning Zoe Stark or even Shayna Baszler. I definitely see this as kind of like a 4-on-1 to say. I think they're all gonna team up on Nia early, get her removed completely from the match. She's not even gonna be a factor. And then, like I said earlier, you can still build up that Raquel Rodriguez Rhea Ripley rematch for the Rumble, for Survivor Series, for even fucking WrestleMania. I'll take it. I love Raquel
Right.
Rodriguez. I think she's gonna be great. I think that she's had enough time and enough opportunities to where you can put the belt on her for even just a couple of months, and I think you'll still have a big payoff on it.
Nice. Nice.
And then next we have, if I'm just going in order from what I can see here, we have Rey Mysterio, Logan Paul. Don't want to spend too much time on this one. We kind of already touched base on it.
Absolutely.
I think this is the point where they finally put gold on Logan Paul. And I honestly think
I
that
could see that. I could see that for sure.
I think it's gonna be a match where they keep it kind of close in the beginning, but then I don't think this match is gonna last very long. I think it's gonna be one of those, one-hitter quitters from Logan Paul, maybe a 10, 15-minute match. I think it's gonna be a high-flying match, which I'm excited for. This is probably right now, other than LA Knight, because I am such a fucking mark for him, I think this is one of the matches that I'm most excited for because I know that both of these guys, as much as you hate Logan Paul, he still puts on a hell of a show, as does Rey Mysterio. I think it's gonna be a
It's a
very
fact.
good match.
I'll give you that one. It will be.
Right, let's see what we got next here. Next, we have Mr. Monday Night, Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight title. I'm
I'd
stuck on
like to see Drew walk away with this.
I would too. I'm stuck on this one. It's gonna be very close to call for me. I feel like Seth has had a lot of title defenses already up to this point. I could very easily see him getting some time off just because of every night, night after night, he has been defending. Like it's not like Roman Reigns situation where you don't see him on TV for 3 months.
Right.
Um,
I'd
as
like to see a Seth Rollins injury to end this match.
and that's
I'd like
kind
to
of
see
where
a
I
Seth
think
Rollins injury.
because
Come back at the Rumble, buddy.
they've still been kind of playing into the back injury. So I
Gotcha.
could easily see that being a situation where they kind of still play to that and have Drew McIntyre win. Um, do you think that there's gonna be any sort of surprises during this match, or do you think it's gonna be
Interference.
yeah, like, do you think you're gonna see anybody come out
I'd
and
like to see a haluva kick. Bing. Fucking good night. After talking all that shit backstage.
Yeah, I very well could easily see that too, but I also think, maybe that's gonna be something they set up for a post-match. But
Gotcha.
actually, now that I'm thinking about it, no, we will not see that because Crown Jewel is in Saudi and
And
Sami
he won't go to
Zayn will not
Saudi.
be
That's true.
there. So maybe, following up on Monday or something like that, you kinda see that go, but I definitely got Drew here. I think he's gonna take the championship for sure.
I hope he does.
It's about time that he gets the recognition and to win that title in front of the fans. I think if they go with Seth, obviously he's still as over as anybody in the company, but I feel like he needs to take a little bit of time for himself and you kind of build up Drew and then you can kind of maybe build back up to the Rumble.
Solid. I like it.
All right, and the final match that we have for Crown Jewel, Roman Reigns, LA Knight. What do you think?
Squash match.
Really?
Squash match.
Let me
Yes.
let me lay something
Because we
down.
have to feel bad for him, bro. We gotta love him. We gotta be like, ah, fuck, bro. This guy got washed quick.
I don't think it's gonna be a squash. I think it's gonna be and I'm not even gonna say, like,
I
obviously,
got you.
in my soul, in my heart of hearts, I know Roman's gonna win, right? But I think it's gonna be a Sammy situation. I think it's gonna be a
Nice.
very high level match. I think it's gonna come down to the very end. Obviously, someone from the fucking bloodline is gonna interfere when the ref's not looking or the ref's down to cause Roman to win. That way they can build it up. But at the same time, I could also see a situation where, you know, maybe Roman's down, LA Knight's going to pin him a foot on the rope, the ref doesn't see it, 3 count, LA Knight wins the title. Doesn't necessarily take it rightfully from Roman to kind of build up to maybe a Survivor Series, maybe even a Royal Rumble rematch. But at the same time, I want to see LA Knight win the Rumble. I don't think anyone else deserves it over him at this point. But again, like you stated before, I feel like this is something that's just happening, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 months too early.
Way too early, bro. Shouldn't be sniffing anywhere around this right now. But we'll see. Hey, he could take it. I mean, but if he does take it, I mean, like to me, that's the biggest waste we would have seen in a long time.
I don't think so. I definitely don't think so because if you do have him take it, maybe at that point you focus Roman Reigns on The Rock at Mania because, as we were talking previously, you don't need a belt for that match to be one of the greatest matches of all time. There's no reason for a title to be involved. So maybe this is their way of kind of pivoting to where, you have LA Knight win the title at Crown Jewel, even throw in a fucking rematch at Royal Rumble and have a disqualification. Maybe The Rock shows up and costs Roman the rematch, or even costs him the title at Crown Jewel. We never know what's going to happen, especially with his daughter being talked to on NXT a couple days ago by the Bloodline. So it really could go in,
All
in
right, all
multiple
right, all right.
directions right now.
I know, but it's still dog shit that is happening right
I still agree with that too.
now.
But LA Knight, I got your back,
Sucks.
bro.
Correct, correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, that's a good one. Settlement. That was a good one.
All right.
All right,
So
so let's jump into. We got 4 minutes left. Well, slightly under three. So let's hop into the 1, 2, 3 count hot take.
all right, this is the 1, 2, 3 count hot take. Brody, I'm gonna let you take the first one. Give me your best.
All right, I think it's a squash match between Roman Reigns and LA Knight.
Hot fucking take. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. All right, so let me give you mine. And this is kind of what I was leading to when we opened the show. I said I had something that I wanted to hold off on because I wanted to get your genuine
Yes.
reaction. Um, with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso losing the titles, I now see a world where Jay and Sami Zayn end up becoming tag team partners. So this also takes Cody Rhodes out of that picture to allow him to win the Royal Rumble again. I think he's a two-time repeat. I think he's gonna go on to Mania, and I as much as I wanna see LA Knight win it, I feel like Cody Rhodes is on that same path, and the good news is, they're on 2 different shows, so you can still give Cody that win and let him go on to Mania to face the champion of Monday Night Raw, but also giving LA Knight a chance to potentially face Roman again if he doesn't win at Crown Jewel.
All right, fair play. I like that.
All right, we got time for one more hot take. The hot take, and if you have another one, feel free to throw it out as well. But I also see with obviously the new manager aspect, right? With Nick Aldis and Pierce. I
Yeah, I was
feel
gonna
like
get into this guy, bro.
I feel like we're gonna get a manager match. Like,
I kind
with
of
the
like
way
it though.
they're setting it up on SmackDown, they had Adam Pierce and Jey Uso getting thrown out from SmackDown, and Adam Pierce said to Nick Aldis as he was getting escorted out, "Let the games begin." And I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to kind
To
of
build
have
towards
that
Survivor Series, like a
exactly,
manager match at Survivor Series.
or
Yeah, I like
even
it too.
have a Raw versus SmackDown where the managers pick 5 guys, and it can be the 5 fucking bums. I don't care. But I feel like we're gonna get a manager match of some sort in the near future, and I'm fucking excited for it.
I like that too. I could see the managers match. I just listen, bro. I just hope that Survivor Series is like a true Survivor Series. I'm tired of them doing these pay per views that are based around shit and they don't have any matches for them. You know what I mean? Like TLC or Money in the Bank, we get one ladder match. Hell in the Cell, we get one Hell in the Cell match. Like, let's bring the pay-per-views back to like what they were when they were thematic and actually had matches based on the pay-per-view.
I do apologize, but I actually just remembered one more hot take that I have for you. Now,
Nice. Okay.
we've been having little bits and pieces of things being dropped off on Raw, on SmackDown, even on Instagram with as the screenshot that I sent you the other day, all roads are kind of sort of leading to CM Punk. And with Survivor Series being in Chicago, I think from what I've been reading on Twitter, there are a lot of rumblings. Some people are saying WWE said no, they didn't want to re-sign him. But in my
Uh
soul, I feel like that is the biggest fucking throw off that anyone has ever seen. And I am fully expecting to see CM Punk back in the WWE for Survivor Series, as well as the return of Randy Orton.
See, like, I could do that. I could definitely do that. I could Randy Orton, I'm here for. The other one, I don't know too much about that, bro.
Listen, I
Fuck this guy.
I wasn't really
Fuck this guy, bro.
I did take a hiatus from wrestling back when, CM Punk was at his peak. I never really watched him too much. Honestly, I don't care if he comes back or not. I think it was a good pop when he came back to AEW originally. I think he's gonna get the same pop in Chicago at Survivor Series that he did at AEW. How long he'll last in the company, I don't know, but it's never a bad thing to have too many stars on your roster. Do I think he's a cancer? 100% fucking yes,
Guy's horrible for the floor, bro.
but he will still draw the crowd, and that's the
Yes, he will.
thing. And I feel like, they're on this run of unprecedentedness that we've never seen in WWE as of late, where, they're selling out arenas on Wednesday nights, on Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, over and over again. And I feel like if you bring CM Punk in, it's only going to get better. That demand is going to rise.
I can't disagree with you, bro. I can't disagree with you. I think they have so much healthy talent in the company right now that's like worth the scratch. But it is what it is, bro. We'll see. All right, so we're 2 minutes over, going
That's
into 3 minutes over.
Well, looks like our time is up, but thank you so much for tuning in to Heels Forever podcast. We will be back next week with a new episode. Appreciate it as always, Brody James. I will see you next week, my friend.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game, and how you play it. All